Pikmin is a game franchise I never really got to experience when I was younger. The most I saw of it was my brother playing Pikmin 2 on the Wii and me buying a red Pikmin plush cause it looked funny, which I still have.
Here he is in all his glory. Oh, wait, what? Where is he? Uh-oh.
But now that I'm older, I've seen loads of stuff about Pikmin. I even got to play a decent amount of Pikmin 3 before no longer having access to it.
She lost it!
Shut up! But especially after all the hype surrounding Pikmin 4, I felt compelled to at least try and finish a Pikmin game. From what I played of 3, the games aren't bad, but I wasn't exactly in love with the series. Once I rewatched Aprillis' video on Pikmin 1 though, I decided to legally acquire and play through the whole thing. So, let's just get right into it. Also, I stole the gameplay footage from YT Yoshi because my own footage would have looked like this. So thanks, YT Yoshi. Pikmin has one of the most simplistic yet motivating stories in a video game. Ideally, this is what most games should strive for. Unless your game is story focused, the story should serve a purpose as a motivator for the player to do whatever the game wants them to. Pikmin does this expertly with its 30-day time limit. Basically, you play as Captain Olimar, an astronaut who crashes onto a mysterious planet, destroying his ship. With only 30 days left on his life support, he works together with a native species of animal, the Pikmin, to help him find the pieces of his broken ship and reconstruct it. In this kind of scenario, you can imagine how hard it is to implement characterization. With each day being gameplay focused and only lasting 13 minutes, there isn't any room for it. Well, unless you do this.
Because whenever you find a new ship part, bring a ship part back to your ship, or blast off into space at the end of the day, you get to hear from Olimar. Or, I guess I should say, read from Olimar, because there's no way he can talk with that toothpick-wide mouth anyways. Each and every part of his ship has an origin and a purpose, he explains, giving tidbits about his world and about his life.
Hey, unpause the video! He sounds relieved when getting the back massager, explains the science behind the comically large spring, reveals that his world's spaceships produce no harmful byproducts, talks about his enjoyment of radio, shows off gifts from his kids, and talks about how the analog computer is literally worthless white noise. I mean, I guess he could use it as an ASMR machine, but come on, who actually listens to ASMR? On top of these, you get his end of the day logs, which just ooze with personality. It's when reading these that you really feel for him, seeing how determined he is to get home to see his family again. My favorite entry is him talking about how he's going to tell his son about this journey, and how determined this thought makes him. In addition to this, he sometimes gives gameplay tips, although the information is usually several days too late. Like, wow, for real? Red Pikmin are resistant to fire? I wish I knew that before I used them to kill fire enemies. Because, you know, I already knew that. Some of the advice has actually helped me immensely before, like the advice of needing to clog up an armored cannon beetle's mouth to attack it, and nothing else, but I already knew how to play, alright? I'm sure it's useful for newer players. You know, if they're stupid. But this section is going on too long. It's not like coolrobin is going to help me edit any of this, so let's talk gameplay. In the previous section, I talked about the time day mechanic, but I didn't actually explain the consequences of having it in the game. Not that it's bad, well, unless time runs out and Olimar dies, but we're not talking about that. When playing, each and every day has to be productive, which makes sense because oh boy are there some things to do. One of the most important things to maintain is your number of Pikmin. Whether that means planting more of them or preventing their deaths in the first place, it's a daily struggle. You fight by commanding the Pikmin at enemies, usually done by throwing them like this.
What the f-
But you can also command them to charge in any direction you please. Most enemies will be simple enough to deal with, but some have weak points, or you need to make sure to recall your Pikmin before they can get killed. One of the earliest ship parts you'll find is the whimsical radar, which lets you use the map and locate ship parts, as well as anyone's IP address. This usually led me to plan out what part I was going to investigate each day, which is a big part of playing Pikmin. When planning, you always need Pikmin, the variants of which are as follows. Reds, which are fireproof and deal the most damage. Blues, which can travel through water without a problem. And yellows, which can be thrown up higher and, commit acts of terrorism. When planning what part you're going after, it is essential to take certain types of Pikmin with you. Each area contains several parts, with scenic landscapes to explore. Some parts require just one kind of Pikmin to collect, like parts just hidden behind giant rock walls that can be blown up by yellow Pikmin. Others may need two kinds, like using blue Pikmin to carry a part found underwater, and reds to protect them against fiery blowhogs. Or better yet, let the reds carry it after it's out of the water. I can't remember a specific part that requires all of the Pikmin, aside from the road to the final boss, but since reds are the best for fighting, it's not a bad idea to have them with you 24/7. Pikmin thrives on the player's ability to solve its open-ended puzzles, and it makes the player feel smart for coming up with efficient paths or ways of collecting things. This is especially true when trying to get multiple parts in a day. Since each area has so many parts with different ways to get them, multitasking is essential. Luckily, your Pikmin have at least the intelligence of a toddler, so they can carry stuff back to the ship without your help. Kinda. This does bring up some criticism to the game as a whole, however, because Pikmin are a bit quirky. Basically, the Pikmin AI sucks. Like, really, really bad. As bad as a high-powered vacuum cleaner bad. I can't even count the number of times my Pikmin took it upon themselves to learn how to swim before drowning like a life jacketless child. They also easily fall off ledges, take unsafe routes back to the ship, and constantly pick at grass like a goddamn third grader playing soccer. Or, you know, football if you're built like this. On the note of criticism, I guess I could say some more. I never find bomb rocks frequently enough. In areas like the forest navel, there are so many explodable walls, but I never used any of them since there were barely any bomb rocks around, at least from what I could tell. I also feel like you should be able to change locations midday. Furthermore, 5 of the ship parts are optional, but aside from some text of Olimar insinuating that maybe not all of the ship parts are necessary, there's no way for you to know that. Or more importantly, there's no way for you to know which ones are optional. Of course, for an alpha gamer like me, I'm always going to collect every ship part, but it's important to mention, before we get to the riveting conclusion of this video that two people are going to watch, I might have missed some things. Actually, no. If you're going to play the game, then you can learn by playing, or at least get some tips from Olimar so someone will actually listen to him. Pikmin is a good game, plain and simple. Despite its short length, I had a fun time throughout most of my playthrough. It's the kind of game I can imagine playing many times throughout my life as the years go by, especially since I'm going to try emulating it with mouse controls. To me, shorter games can be better than longer ones, especially since I've heard so much negativity about the sequel game that is much longer, which I'll be playing next. Pikmin just gives a fun but tense situation for the player to overcome, one that feels rewarding to get through in as few days as possible. There are lots of things I missed in this video. Every mechanic, every area, each enemy, boss, obstacle. There's so much to talk about, and I even forgot the music. Brief summary. It's good. If you haven't been convinced to play Pikmin yet, then I don't know what will be able to convince you. With that, I think I'm done gushing about this game. But thanks for making it to the end of the video, and hey, subscribe for more, because I'm probably going to be making a video about Pikmin 2 once I beat it.